Good morning, Northwest. I'm Isabella, and this is Doughboy, and we'd like to welcome you to Time Connect. Please stand for the pledge. Put your right hand over your heart and your left hand by your side and say it with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the dress code check.
I'm hungry.
Okay. You may now be seated. Soccer and volleyball play today against Roberta Road. Yeah. Good morning, Northwest. This is Isabella with this week's Positivity Project, Character Strength Purpose. The Character Strength Purpose means that you plan for the future and achieve your goals by making careful everyday choices. In other words, here are some synonyms you may recognize for the character strength of purpose: believing, trusting, purposeful, and devoted. Remember, a person can have a sense of purpose every single day. As you go through your day, be sure to look for opportunities where you can demonstrate the character strength of purpose. Now for Mr. Egnott.
Good morning, Northwest. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday morning. If we get closer and closer to the end of the school year, just a couple reminders. Please make sure that you're always checking your Power School, making sure that you're getting all of your assignments turned in, get your grades where you want them to be before we get into our testing calendar. So just make sure, double check, make sure you get all those assignments in. It's always better to take that 50 instead of taking that 0. Okay, so we just had a couple of events that I wanted to go over for this day in history on April 30th. So April 30th in the terms of the United States of America this is the actual first address that was given by our first president of the United States, which is George Washington. George Washington made this speech actually in New York because it was still the development of Washington, D.C., as our 8th graders had learned a couple weeks ago. That Washington, D.C. eventually will become the nation's capital, but this particular address was actually given at New York. With George Washington making that official. So that becomes really the first inauguration. So we actually had our recent inauguration with our current president, and these typically now are happening in January. It's usually the third week in January. But this one was given on April 30th, addressed to the nation. The next one was April 30th, 1945, and I'm not going to say and to celebrate, but it was close to what was known as Victory in Europe Day. April 30th is the day that Adolf Hitler, who was in his bunker, actually committed suicide with his wife and his top general in Berlin, seeing that the Soviet Union and the United States were both collapsing into his capital city. Or coming into his capital city, excuse me. The next one then is in 1993, and this is a shout out to Mr. Joey and Mr. Trump, is we had the World Wide Web. So in technology in our world is 1993 is the birth of the World Wide Web. So we know that it was the internet now as we know it. Obviously we are seeing the fruits that has happened in 1993. So that was a huge moment in that respect as well. So hopefully everybody enjoys their Wednesday. I do have one other additional student that's coming on here for a special announcement, and then I'll let her on. I guess, I don't know. Is it like a video or whatever it was? What is it?
No, she was supposed to be recording something else.
Miss Richardson was?
Yeah.
Okay.
On her phone, on her personal phone.
Please stand by.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, so
I don't think she goes on.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's May 1st.
because she told us to meet her in here.
Tomorrow.
No, today.
Okay, well. All right, anyway.
Anyway.
I'm sorry about that. That was, again, I'm still in Charleston time, so that's probably why I'm a little bit sleepy and not sure what exactly is going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to conclude this particular broadcast. To always, Northwest, be respectful, be responsible, and always be safe. Good luck to our teams today. Have a wonderful Wednesday.